Black waiter says to a billionaire, "My mom has the same ring." He went paralyzed instantly. Beginning. The rooftop restaurant, the Skyward Spire, was the most exclusive dining venue in New Manhattan. It floated above the city on a levitating disc of stabilized quantum alloys, its floor-to-ceiling glass giving a god's-eye view of the neon labyrinth below. The restaurant was frequented by dignitaries, celebrities, and billionaires who ruled industries with the flick of a wrist. Among them sat billionaire Magnus Vaynar, the man who controlled Helix Dynamics, Earth's largest biotech corporation. Known for his stoic demeanor and near-superhuman composure, Magnus had a reputation for never being rattled. He was a master of secrets, wealth, and power. On this particular evening, he was hosting a private dinner with several investors. Dressed in a deep midnight blue suit, he leaned back, sipping an aged red wine from a glass that likely cost more than a waiter's annual salary. That waiter, however, was about to change everything. Jalen Carter wasn't supposed to be there. At least, that's what he thought as he stood with his tray of drinks, weaving through the tables. 23 years old, tall, lean, with sharp eyes that carried the quiet wisdom of someone who had grown up in hard neighborhoods, Jalen had only taken this job to help his sick mother. She had been fighting a strange illness for years, something the doctors couldn't name. As he approached Magnus' table, his eyes caught something that froze him mid-step. A ring. Sitting on Magnus Vaynar's hand was a heavy silver band with an obsidian gem set into it. Around the gem pulsed a faint, almost imperceptible red light, like a heartbeat. It wasn't the value of the ring that caught Jalen's attention. It was its familiarity. His mother had the exact same one. Without thinking, Jalen spoke aloud as he set down the drinks. "Strange, my mom has the same ring." Middle. The table went quiet. Forks stopped clinking. Glasses froze midair, and a silence heavier than gravity filled the space. Magnus Vaynar's hand trembled ever so slightly. His wine glass tipped, spilling crimson liquid across the tablecloth. His steel blue eyes locked onto Jalen with a look so sharp it felt like being dissected alive. "What did you just say?" Magnus asked, his voice low and dangerous. Jalen blinked, realizing too late he might have spoken out of turn. "I just meant, my mother has the same ring. Identical, actually. She's worn it all my life." Magnus' usually expressionless face twitched. His lips parted, but no words came out. His body stiffened, and then, shockingly, he collapsed back into his chair, paralyzed. The billionaire's investors leapt to his side, calling his name, but his eyes never left Jalen. Security rushed in. A tall woman in a black uniform grabbed Jalen by the arm. "What did you do?" she barked. "Nothing." Jalen protested. "I only said." "Bring him." Magnus croaked suddenly, his voice faint but commanding. The billionaire's paralysis seemed partial. His body refused to move, but his will remained strong. "Bring him to me. Alone." The confrontation. Minutes later, Jalen stood in a private glass chamber at the far side of the restaurant. The city glowed beneath them like a sea of fireflies. Magnus sat across from him, breathing heavily, his hand clenched around the ring. His guard stood outside, watching. "You shouldn't know about this," Magnus said at last, his voice laced with both fear and awe. "That ring, where did your mother get it?" Jalen hesitated. "I don't know. She said it was passed down, a family heirloom." "Why?" Magnus' face darkened. "That is no heirloom. It is one of the relics. Only 7 were ever forged, and I own the only one." Jalen frowned. "Clearly not. My mom has one." Magnus leaned forward, his paralysis easing as the ring itself responded to Jalen's words. "Boy, do you have any idea what that means? These rings are not mere jewelry. They are keys, artifacts left behind by the architects, the beings who seeded humanity across the stars thousands of years ago. Each ring links to a different vault, technology beyond comprehension, weapons, cures, even the power to manipulate life itself." Jalen's heart skipped. "You mean my mother's illness?" Magnus' eyes widened. "Your mother is still alive?" "Yes, but she's sick. No one can figure out what's wrong with her." Magnus' face grew pale. "That sickness, it is no natural disease. The ring is consuming her. These relics were not meant for ordinary humans. They bond to chosen bloodlines, descendants of the architect's experiments. If your mother truly bears one, then you are part of that bloodline." Jalen felt the floor tilt beneath him. He thought of the nights his mother would clutch the ring in her sleep, whispering strange words in a language he didn't recognize. Magnus' voice lowered. "I searched for decades for the other rings. And yet, here you stand, telling me your mother has one. Do you understand, boy? If that's true, then your family holds a key to everything. And he clenched his fist, I cannot allow anyone else to wield that power. The hunt begins. Before Jalen could react, Magnus gave a signal. The glass doors opened and guards stepped inside. Take him, Magnus ordered coldly, and find the mother. Jalen fought back, adrenaline surging. He knocked one guard into the glass wall and bolted for the exit. Alarms blared as he sprinted through the restaurant, weaving between startled guests. His mind raced. Magnus wasn't just a billionaire. He was a predator. And now he was coming for his mother. That night, Jalen returned home to their small apartment on the lower levels of the city. His mother, Elara Carter, was frail, lying on the couch with her breathing shallow. The black silver ring glowed faintly on her finger. Mom, Jalen said urgently, we have to leave. Magnus Vaynar, he knows about the ring. He says it's dangerous, that it's killing you. Elara's eyes opened slowly, and for the first time, Jalen saw not just the tired warmth of mother, but the sharp glimmer of hidden knowledge. I was hoping this day would never come, she whispered. Jalen, that man, he doesn't deserve the ring. None of them do. They crave power, but they don't understand the cost. She gripped his hand. Listen to me. The rings are connected. Together. They unlock something buried beneath the city. The architects left it behind. Magnus has been searching for it his whole life. And now it's up to you. Jalen shook his head. I'm just a waiter. No, Elara said firmly, her voice breaking through her weakness. You're my son, and you carry their blood. Climax. The following night, Magnus' men stormed the building. Helicopters hovered outside, their searchlights cutting through the smog. Jalen guided his mother through the fire escape as bullets rattled the walls. They fled into the undercity, chased through abandoned tunnels lit only by the faint glow of the ring. Finally, they reached an ancient door, massive metallic, etched with glowing symbols. The ring pulsed violently on Elara's hand. This is it, she whispered. The vault. Magnus appeared moments later, flanked by armed drones. Despite the chaos, his suit remained spotless, his expression calm but hungry. Open it, he commanded, with both rings. Elara stepped forward, but Jalen blocked her. If these relics are so dangerous, why should anyone open it? Magnus' eyes burned, because inside lies the Genesis core, the power to rewrite DNA itself, to cure any illness, to create new life, to become as gods. Jalen's heart wavered. If it could cure his mother, wasn't that worth it? But Elara shook her head. No, Jalen. The core doesn't just cure, it consumes. It remakes everything in its image. Humanity would no longer be free. Magnus wants control, not salvation. Magnus raised his hand, revealing his ring. Then give me the choice. The two rings began to resonate, light spilling into the cavern. The door shuddered, slowly opening. A blast of energy knocked everyone to the ground. Inside, a sphere of pure light hovered, a living sun, small yet infinite, the Genesis core. Jalen stood between Magnus and the sphere. His mother's hand trembled on his shoulder. Magnus snarled. Step aside. Do you want your mother to die? Jalen's chest tightened. He saw his mother's weary face, felt the weight of her illness, the years of sacrifice. He wanted nothing more than to save her. But then he saw Magnus' eyes, empty, greedy, dangerous. If Magnus gained this power, billions would suffer. Jalen made his choice. He pulled the ring from his mother's hand and slipped it onto his own. The two rings fused with a blinding flash, sending fire through his veins. He screamed as ancient energy coursed through him, rewriting his very blood. The core responded, recognizing him as its true heir. Magnus lunged forward, but the core unleashed a shockwave, hurling him into the cavern wall. His body convulsed, paralyzed once more. Jalen, glowing with architect power, turned to his mother. The light enveloped her, purging the sickness from her body. For the first time in years, she stood tall, strong, and whole. Ending. The cavern collapsed, sealing the core once again. The rings dissolved into Jalen's skin, their legacy now part of him. Magnus Vaynar was dragged away by his own guards, broken, defeated, his empire destined to crumble without the relics. As dawn broke over New Manhattan, Jalen and his mother stood together on a rooftop, watching the rising sun. You changed, Elara said softly, looking at him with pride. Maybe, Jalen replied, but I'm still your son. He knew the power inside him would never leave. It was both gift and burden. He could cure or create destroy. The choice was his. And unlike Magnus Vaynar, Jalen vowed to use it not for control, but for hope. Because sometimes the strongest legacy isn't wealth or power. It's a love that survives through every trial.